Workout number 3 this week is going to be as many quality rounds as possible, okay? So we're going to do that for 12 to 15 minutes. So you choose, depending maybe on the amount of time that you have, or if you'd rather do it a little less. If you want to challenge yourself, try to do it for a little longer. You choose the amount of time. Try to choose before you start. Set a clock, set a timer. Do it for 12 to 15 minutes. Your choice of the amount of time, all right? So you're just trying to get through as many rounds as possible of these 4 movements, all right? Thinking about controlling with quality movements, quality form, okay? Not rushing through to try to see how many you can get done and getting sloppy with it, all right? So keep control, focus on breathing, all right? And know it's gonna be, you're gonna start to feel it after a few rounds, all right? So pace yourself if you can, all right? So these 4 movements are gonna be a hip hinge variation or a Kang squat, okay? That's gonna be 8 repetitions, 8 reps. The next movement is gonna be a halo into a reverse lunge, all right? You can do 4 on each side or 8 total. After that is something called a dig and chop, all right? Dig and chop is a nice rotational strengthening movement, and I'll show you that in a minute. And the last thing, you have 2 options. You can do some hops, pogo hops. So you're using your arms as some momentum and you're doing some small hops, or a standing calf raise, okay? All right, so for those 4 movements, our hip hinge variation, I've showed you these in the past. You have a few options, okay? You have a standard 2-handed deadlift, 1-handed deadlift, you have a split stance position, and you have an RDL. Those are really the 4 main ones that I focus on. RDL, Romanian deadlift, keeping those legs a little straighter, less of a bend in the knee. You're gonna feel it more in the hamstrings. Just be careful with that. Make sure you're not pushing it too much, because the hamstrings are easily injured. All right, so don't push it too much where you're gonna pull something in those hamstrings. But control all the movements and do what you can with that if you choose the Romanian deadlift. All right, after the hip hinge will be a halo and reverse lunge. So you're gonna hold the bell by the horns upside down. So by the handle, the top of the handle, where it meets the meat of the bell, and you're gonna do a halo. So you're gonna bring the bell around your head, focusing on some depth around that head. So when the bell comes around, you're gonna step back with the leg that the bell is coming from. So if the bell is coming across my body to my right side, I'm gonna step back with my left leg. And then you're gonna reverse that movement and do the other side. This takes a little coordination, a little getting used to pay attention to what side you're doing and keeping track of that. Nice controlled movements, especially on the descend. Stepping back and lowering that knee as best you can to the floor. Nice and controlled. After that complex, that movement, you're gonna do that dig and chop. So you can do this kneeling or standing. You're gonna hold the bell by the horns, okay? And if you do it standing, you can take 1 foot forward, 1 foot back slightly, okay? You don't have to do that, but I like to do that. And you're gonna start with the bell across your body. So your arms are gonna be, one of your arms is gonna be across the front of your body, and you're holding it at your side, and then you're gonna bring it up to the other side above the other opposite shoulder. So you're gonna bring the bell from here. You can keep a nice light lock or slightly bent elbow while you're doing this. So you're bringing it from next to the hip, bringing it up next to that head or above that shoulder. If you choose not to do that split stance, you can just stand normally with your feet next to each other. We're going to do 8 reps total on each side. Nice and controlled. And after that is our last movement with our pogo hops. So we're going to do just small hops, trying to get those feet barely off the floor, using those hands as some momentum here. You're going to do 30 of those hops. If you can't do 30 and want to do less, do a little less, that's okay. But just remember that you're going to do this as many quality rounds as possible for that 12 to 15 minutes. If you want to choose that, you can choose that or a standing calf raise. I would suggest leaning on a wall or a chair or a table, something stable, to really focus on getting those heels off the floor. Again, nice and controlled. Coming up as high as you can on the balls of your feet, the front part of your foot, and getting those heels off the floor. All right, nice and controlled. And you're going to do that. You're going to try to do 20 of those calf raises if you choose that option. All right, that's going to be workout number 3 this week.